Hey guys, it's Andrew here from Ownershift. Today we're talking about the 3 tricks that you can use to survive the recession. So here we are, it is 2023. We know that a recession is either here or on the way, depending on where you're located. So we want you guys to be prepared. So here are the things you need to know in your restaurant. So, number one, what happens in a recession is people are more tight with their money, right? So, all of a sudden there's fear, people are scared. And so, what they do is they try and hold back a little bit more, right? They're not going to go out and spend and buy those big TVs and all the things that maybe they used to, and they're not going to go out for dinner as much and not visit as many restaurants. They're going to be more cautious with where they spend their money. So, what that means for you is that one of the most important things you can do is double down on your quality and service. Because let's face it, over the last few years, with troubles in the labor market, with troubles with food quality, food pricing, with all the issues that we've been dealing with, a lot of times what has suffered is maybe the level of service that we used to have. Maybe it's the quality of the product that we used to have that's went down. And, again, it is part of it. It's not intentional, but with brand new servers entering the workforce, they're not going to know as much as the more experienced people that maybe we used to have. So, doubling down on your quality and service is one of the number one things you can do, because as people choose where they spend their money, are they going to choose to go to a place that they've never been to before, or are they going to choose to go to the place that they know they are always going to get good value for the dollar? They're going to get amazing service, that they are going to get their money's worth, right? Or do you think they're going to go to the place like, well, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad? No, they're going to choose the place that they know is going to be great and they are confident in, because when they have a scarcity mindset without a whole lot of money, they are going to pick and choose this very well, and they need a sure thing. They need the confidence that when they come to visit you, they are going to get amazing service and an amazing product, and they're going to have an amazing time. That is what we really need to double down on. So that's number one. Number two, in a recession, most restaurants pull back their marketing budget. In restaurants, because people are afraid, my bank account shrinking, oh my God, what do I do? Instead of actually trying to grow their top line sales, what they actually do is cut all of their marketing, and they kind of stick their head in the sand out of fear, right? This is a very normal reaction to people because we are emotional. We are human, right? That's how we were designed. So what we need to know is that when a recession comes around, one of the most important things you can be doing is actually continually marketing. Reason for that is because all of your competition has stopped, so that means your ad costs are lower, number one, and you get more attention with every piece of advertising that you put out there, right? Because again, there's fewer people out there. Just to give you an example, when I'm running Facebook ads, my cost per 1,000 impressions went from about $20 to $12 between the week of like Boxing Day, New Year's versus the week after, first week of January. Now that's not recession oriented, that's just, seasonal. There's fewer advertisers out there, so my cost dropped nearly in half for the cost for impressions. So that's just one instance of it. But that means another piece of it is that you will probably be hesitant to do things like discounting. And what I will tell you is that in a recession, more people are susceptible to value offers, right? Because they are going to go where they feel there's the most price to value discrepancy. And so what's going to happen is they're going to go, okay, where can I go? Awesome, I could go over here and get this for this price. Or if you give them an offer and you know that when someone comes in and they buy a burger from you or whatever it is at $15, something like that, they know that they're getting $20 or $30 of value, right? That is where they're going to go with their money versus something that might be $20 and really the burger quality is $10. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure there's a high value discrepancy, but what this means is that you can skew this in your favor by doing offers, and especially trying to get out with new customers or to get people to return more frequently, offering them a couple dollars off or doing a buy one, get one 50%, or those types of things people are going to be really receptive to because they're going to be very conscious about where they spend their money. And if we can either up the value or up the perceived value by adding something like a, free dessert for $2, and really our cost on that dessert is only $2, high value, but low cost for us, Those are the things that are going to move the needle in acquisition in your business. So, number 3, the other thing you need to know about a recession is you want to monitor your costs closely. So gone are the days where restaurant owners could just not monitor their food and labor costs on a daily and weekly basis. Those days are gone, right? Now money is tighter. You need to know exactly what's coming in and what's coming out. You need to be monitoring your labor cost daily, midweek, and weekly to make sure that you are tight on your schedule. Because let's face it, once that hour is gone, the money's gone. You can't not pay someone because it wasn't busy, right? So we need to make sure that we're monitoring that. Same thing with food costs. This is where we want to watch our vendor pricing a little bit more. We want to be watching our portioning. We want to be looking at our food cost at minimum every single week to go, okay, how did we match up with our projections? How do we match up with our food cost targets? And if we're over, what are we going to do about it? Because right now, with fewer dollars coming in, you need to be much more conscious of basically where it's going, where you're spending it. And if you're off track, we need to get on track quicker so that you don't end up 3 or 4 months from now in a tough position, right? And if you're looking at all of your expenses, here's a trick that I did. So I went through really hard times when I first started out. We were hemorrhaging money. I was in overdraft for years. Like, it was a really, really tough position, and I made it through and have now scaled to where I am today. So here's one of the strategies that I used. I looked through my bank account and my profit and loss statement. I went line by line through everything, and I asked 2 questions. Is this absolutely necessary to run my business? And if it's not, then I asked a second question. Is it making me more money than what it's costing me? And if the answer was no, it got cut. If it was yes, it stayed. So I went through my entire bank account. I went through every statement line by line, and I just cut things out. Is this absolutely necessary? Do we really need this? I took out all the niceties because survival was important at that point. So what I would encourage you to do is you need to be tight on your margins, but where you want to spend your money is actually in marketing and advertising, right? Those are the places that you want to spend your money because that will have a disproportionate impact. So number 1, if we focus on increasing top line, focus on decreasing expenses, the profit is in the middle. And as I'm recording this in January of 2023, I believe that as much as the recession is going, we also know that the seasonality of restaurants, we are in the winter period right now where I am in Canada, and what's going to happen is by the time we hit March, April, May, sales will naturally trend up. So if you're sitting here and you're struggling and you're wondering, how am I going to make it through this? My sales are down. What is going on? How can I survive this? We really have to think about, how do we get ourselves to March? Because in March and April and May, that's where there'll naturally be an upswing in revenue. And so what we need to do right now is focus on, how do we get through the next 2 or 3 months? And if we can do that, we're going to be on a much better track to come out of this thing. All right, guys, hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know.